How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Climb on in. What up, what up, what up? Got a few announcements to make, and then just want to talk about this kidney filtration, getting the adrenals back online, things like that. You know, we'll be at the clinic doing a lot of hard work, and I'm noticing a lot of y'all are keeping yourselves from healing because y'all focus on everything else, but some of the key components to healing and detoxifying your body in the proper way. So y'all climb on in. I'll do a few questions at the end, and then we're going to get up out of here. Yes, that's this weekend. So this weekend, we're going to be in Atlanta. We showing off one of my films, which is called Vegan Virgin. Y'all come check me out in Atlanta. Pull up. The actual address is on the flyer, correct?
Yes, I got it.
The address is on the flyer. Yell out that address real quick, Navi.
It's 3300. The address is 3300 Northeast Expressway, Northeast Building number 2. It's the Cinevision screening room. And that's 3300 Northwest Expressway, Building number 2.
And I'll put that inside of the actual description of this video. So y'all come see me. The flyer is up. Come see me this weekend. And look, let's kick it. We're going to eat some good vegan food. We're going to watch the Virgin Vegan series, well, episode, should I say. Well, it's actually a movie, but we're thinking about turning it into a series. And y'all tell me what y'all think about it. It's out on Tubi right now. And on the 12th, it's going to be on Amazon Prime and all the other platforms. So y'all check me out. Also, everybody been asking about the next class or 3-day course that we doing here at Y'all Kid Wake and Detoxification Institute. That will be January
11th, 12th, and 13th.
January 11th, 12th, and 13th. It's called The Life of the Flesh is in the Blood. And basically, I'm going to be teaching y'all about erythrocytes, leukocytes. We're going to be talking about the anatomy and physiology of the blood, how the blood works, how it works with oxygen, hemoglobin, how you can check the blood to sense what they call disease, everything. By the time y'all get done with the 3-day lecture, y'all will leave with a certificate, and you'll know exactly how to cleanse your blood, how to look at it under a microscope, and everything else. So I think that's going to be very interesting. We actually going to be dropping the tickets for that tonight, so y'all can grab that. It filled up quick last time. It was amazing. We had a good time. A lot of people flew in. We had the building packed from wall to wall, and they got to go through all of their different experiences with the equipment and technology that we had. So it was an amazing thing. So we're gonna put that in too. So yep, you will leave with a certificate, and it's called The Life of the Flesh is in the Blood, and we basically talking about hematology and in blood physiology. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So look, a lot of people been coming in here. Oh, thank y'all. Yeah, I know I dropped them. Look good a little bit. But a lot of people been coming in here, and you know, a lot of people like, I don't see filtration. When I check my urine, I still see bubbles. When I check my urine, I don't see settlement in the bowl. That's because y'all not focusing on y'all kidneys. Y'all watching the videos and listening to the information, but y'all not applying everything that I'm teaching y'all. So I'm going to show you how to get your kidneys to filtrate. First, we got to understand what the kidneys are. The kidneys are the filtration system of the body. Whenever you eat food and you chew on these foods and you break them down to their phytochemicals or to their phytonutrients, once your cells eat these foods, when your cells eat these food, it go through combustion. Just all of that energy that it takes for you to digest your food creates byproducts. These byproducts are acidic forming, and they're very, very harmful to the body. So you have to be able to get rid of all the waste byproducts that you getting in or accumulating throughout the day because you're eating food, you're drinking water, you're dealing with environmental pollutants, you're dealing with chemtrails, you're dealing with water that's saturated and in chemicals. Some of y'all are eating foods that have herbicides, pesticides, and insecticides on it. A lot of us are eating forever chemicals. So it's very, very imperative that you make sure that your And the reason why you make sure that your kidneys are filtering is because that's the only way to get rid of metabolic waste in a large quantity. Now, don't get me wrong. You still got your skin, and you can go through perspiring and sweating, and you can get rid of toxins that way because your skin acts as your third kidney. It's one of the largest organs on your body, and not only that, it's one of the largest parts of your lymphatic system, your skin is, but it's also a eliminative system as well. So if your kidneys are not filtrating, off back, you need to be in a sauna every single day for at least 21 minutes at about 180 to 200 degree Fahrenheit. 21 minutes at the least a day if your kidneys are not filtrating. That way you have something compensating for your kidneys not working. So when you go throughout your day and you're breathing, you're building up lactic acid, you're building up carbon dioxide. All these things are very bad for the system if it stay in the system. When you eat your food and you digest your food, in order for you to break down your food and use that energy, there's a combustion. Just like if you put gas or fuel, what I'm going to call food, inside of your fuel tank, or I'm going to call the stomach of a car. The car is your body. Once you ignite that ignition is what your actual nervous system doing. You drive around. For you using that actual fuel of food, there's a compensation and a byproduct happens from it through that combustion called what? Carbon dioxide that comes out the tailpipe. So a lot of your carbon dioxide per se or your waste byproducts come through your poop, but a lot of the cellular waste that you are accumulating throughout your day is supposed to come through your urine by urea by way of the kidneys. So if your kidneys are not filtrating properly, either because your adrenals are down or you're suffering from adrenal fatigue, or they're just not filtrating properly because the nephrons or has an itis like nephritis, or you're going through some type of inflammatory response because of your environment, then it's going to be very, very hard for you to detox properly. All right. So the kidneys or the filtration tissues of the body. Your skin is a filtration system of the body. Not only that, but your hair is an eliminative filtration organ as well. That's why if you notice, if you're working out or if you're in the sun and if you playing kickball or kickboxing and boxing, notice you sweat from your hair too, because these are pores, the pores and follicles on top of our hair too. So your hair is not only an extension of your nervous system, it's not only antennas to scan the environment and bring back different types of signals to fold proteins and to let you know how to react to your environment, whether the fight or flight, take fight and protect yourself, or take flight and run away from danger, but it actually helped as a detoxification organ as well. And many scientific articles prove that through children that had autism. And they noticed that a bunch of mercury was built up in the hair follicle of the children that was detoxing properly from autism because they was getting rid of all the metals. But the children that couldn't detox properly, they couldn't find any mercury coming from the actual follicles or the scalp of their head. And that's an indication that your hair is actually a eliminative organ as well. So you have many different eliminative organs. We're going to go through them. The first one off back is the digestive system. That's the tailpipe, or what you will call the large intestines, or what they call the colon, the ascending colon, descending colon, transverse colon, sigmoid colon, out through the anus. Most of your macro byproducts go through there. You see that? Then you have micro byproducts, and this is cellular waste that goes through your kidney, down through your urethra, out through your penis or your vagina hole, and they call this what? Well, I can't call it a vagina hole because it's still a urinary tract. But they call it what? They call that urea, and most of your byproducts go out there. Then you got backups. Your other backups is your skin. That's a eliminative filtration organ, and then your hair. So all together is really 4, but you got 5 that's forceful, and that's your mouth. If you get so systematically backed up, and you backed up systematically or systemically, guess what happens? You start to throw up. You see that? So 5 is a rush one. If you at 5 and you throwing up because your kidneys ain't working, if you at number 5 and you throwing up because you can't urine, if you at 5 and you throwing up because you can't poop, or your body won't give you diarrhea to get rid of all the toxemia or metabolic waste that's built up, then the last resort is you actually vomiting and throwing up. So the whole thing is to get the kidneys to function or filter properly. And how you do that is by paying attention to the adrenal glands. And the reason why I'm talking about the adrenal glands is because the adrenal glands is the power supply to the kidneys. Every cell in your body have electrodes or have electrolytes. These electrolytes act as like these little finite electricity and charges to keep things running. But these things run on an innate immune, I won't even call it immune system, lymphatic system that keeps it cleansed, but it got to have some power supply. And the power supply is the adrenal. So how you get the kidneys running and how you get the kidneys to filtrate, you get your adrenal glands on. And I use the fish tank analogy a lot. If you got a fish tank, right, which is the body, and then you have the fish, which is the cells that make up the body, notice when the fish eat, the fish start pooping and urinating all inside the fish tank. If you don't remove the poop in the feces and the urine that the fish is accumulating inside the fish tank, the fish will go septic and then they die. Or what happened is algae build up on the actual fish tank. So what you can do is you can do a natural thing and put algae in bottom feeders in the fish tank to eat up the poop, to eat up the urine, to help break it down more, or to eat the algae off the fish tank. Or you can get something called a filtration system. All right, now your adrenal glands act as the power line to the actual filtration system. Your kidneys act as the actual filtration system itself, or it acts as the algae eater, and then the electricity that feeds the bottom feeder act as the plug unit for the filtration system. So if you see your fish tank is getting dirty, what you do, you go out and you buy a filtration system, which is the kidneys. But in order for the filtration system to work, it have to have a power source or a power supply. That is the adrenal glands when you plug it into the wall. So the adrenal glands is in control of the autonomic nervous system, this parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. It's called the enteric or the intrinsic, two words, enteric or intrinsic nervous system. If the nervous system is not powering up the kidneys, then the nephron filtration markers won't turn on and start filtering the metabolic waste out of your body from all the byproducts that's been accumulating and building up within your blood, within your lymphatic system, within your system, period, from all the things that you've been eating. See, even the blood cleanses itself inside of the lymphatic system, but the lymphatic system cleanses and dumps all of this waste in the kidneys, for the kidneys can get rid of all of the cellular toxins. So the best way to focus on kidney filtration is to make sure that your adrenals are stimulated, not fatigued. And you have many different products or herbs that do that. For instance, you have licorice root. Licorice root turns on the adrenal glands. Now, most of the people that have kidney issues and are suffering from kidney filtration are suffering from hypertension. So if you're already suffering from hypertension because the lack of minerals like magnesium, and you have too much calcium buildup, and you can't dilate the blood vessels because they're too constricted, then what happens is your blood pressure will get higher if you take licorice root. So don't take licorice root if you have high blood pressure, but you can take ashwagandha root. That will help. You can take astragalus root. You can take wild yam root. These things help get the adrenals back online and stimulate the adrenals, for you can start pumping more electricity to the kidneys, for those nephrons in the kidneys can actually open up and start filtering the blood and getting all that metabolic waste outside of the body. You see that also you can do lymphatic massages. There's papers on this, and we do this in our clinic all the time that show that manual lymphatic massages stimulates kidneys. Or you can do something where you can do neurolymphatic massages, where you will go to the neurolymphatic points that's along the spine and along the chest cavity walls, and you just rub them deep pressure with your thumbs in clock position, not counterclockwise, but in clockwise position, and that will stimulate the intrinsic or the enteric nervous system to get the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system jump started, for you can get those electrodes or electrolytes to the adrenal glands. That way the adrenal glands will get back online, and now the kidneys is now communicating with the adrenal glands, and you can filter out all that metabolic waste and all the things that you've been eating that's breaking down into things that doesn't need to be in your body. So now once you get your adrenal glands back online through those herbs I was just saying, through the lymphatic massages, through eating high fruit diet. Yes, I'm saying high fruit diet because that's what help you, because that's full of electrolytes and electricity as well. And most of them are grounding foods too. Then now it's time to focus on the kidneys. Now you turn the supply on, but even though that you got the filtration system plugged into the wall, now you got to make sure that the filter's on. If you look at what I'm talking about in the fish tank analogy, even if you plug the filtration system up in the wall, it won't work properly unless you put the filter on the filtration system. So now it's time to start thinking about the kidneys and actually how to get the kidneys up and running. So we got the power supply to the kidneys. Now we need the kidneys to filtrate. How you get the kidneys to filtrate is by moving the lymphatic system, doing trampoline and rebounding. Not only that, herbs like parsley is very, very good for the kidneys. Very good for the kidneys. Parsley and stinging nettle and juniper berries is probably my 3 top favorite kidney herbs. You see what I'm saying? So now you got 3. I gave you 3 herbs to get the adrenal glands up and running, right? Plus a massage. I gave you an exercise like jumping rope or doing calf muscle raises. You see that? And gave you 3 herbs for the kidneys. Now we can focus on the lymph. Y'all are too busy. I didn't talk y'all about the lymphatic system so much. Y'all dive straight into cilantro is good for the kidneys. Let's be real, but cilantro is more good for moving toxicity and metals out of the body. So I wouldn't really call cilantro a kidney herb. You know, it does do something to the kidneys. It'll tickle it a little bit, but it ain't gonna really get in there and do its job and open up those nephrons and really, you know, flush them. Oh, somebody said the fascia blast. You sure right. And that's what I was gonna talk about last when I talk about moving the lymphatic system. It's really exercising, moving the fascia. But yeah, cilantro is cool. I would add that just to move any type of heavy metals and toxicities out of the bloodstream. But you can really get the kidneys to filtrate if you focus on juniper berry, stinky nettle, and parsley. That is an amazing kidney herbal mix that just does an amazing job. And then again, you can use licorice root if you don't have hypertension for your adrenal glands to get them stimulated. And if you do have hypertension or vasoconstriction, then you can use wild yam root, astragalus, or ashwagandha roots. All of them are good for the adrenals. Now, what I was talking about is so many y'all are focused on moving the lymphatic system, but it is very dangerous for you to move your lymphatic system and your kidneys are not filtrating. That's why I want y'all to, and I say this a lot, I want y'all to focus on the kidneys and adrenals before you start moving your lymph. Because if you move your lymph, and your lymph is the sewage system of the body, and we talk about this all the time about how the body is made of 150 trillion cells, and these cells are miniature yous. They're universes that make up who you are. They have organelles, you have organs. They have small parts, you have small parts. They have their own endocrine system, like you have an endocrine system. They have a respiratory system, you have a respiratory system. They have something called the vacuole, you have something called the bladder. They have a digestive system called the mitochondria. You have a digestive system called the digestive system. They also have cellular respiration, how they breathe through the mitochondria. You have a respiratory system. So every single organ or organ system that's in you as a human being, you actually have these same organs inside of your cells on a smaller unit called organelles. So your cells eat. And if they eat, you have to defecate, you have to poop. Your cells drink. If they drink, they have to urinate. Your cells are living and breathing, they're moving, they're actually living entities, so they use energy. You cannot use energy for free. Whenever you use energy, you create a byproduct. So the blood is what feeds the cells the phytonutrients. It feeds it, I call it the fabulous five, which and the fabulous five will consist of the lipids, because your brain eats lipids. You need lipids and you need cholesterol. You need these fats. You need these unsaturated fats and these polyunsaturated fats, because that's what your brain eats. Also, amino acid or carboxylic acid. You need those to rebuild the physical molecular structure. You see that carbohydrates. You need non-refined organic carbohydrates. That's what your cells and your muscles actually eat. And the hydration part actually keeps you hydrated. You need minerals. Your minerals or your cations and your anions. This is the electrical unit that keeps your nervous system stimulated for you can actually have life. And last but not least, you need enzymes. And all these things create enzymes, and enzymes actually tell hormones what to do with inside the molecular structure. So that's your fabulous five. You need those fabulous five. It's essential for the cells to have those, or they can't live. And oxygen, of course. So if you're not feeding the cells that, then of course you're going to get what they call disease. But if you are feeding the cells that, guess what's going to happen? The cells are going to eat all these things, and then they're going to go through a cycle. And the cycle is going to go through digestion, and then they have to poop and pee them out. But when the cells poop and pee these things out, you have something called the lymphatic system. So what happens is you go through something called mitophagy, which is called mitochondria autophagy. Then you're going to go through something called chaperone autophagy. This is where proteins start breaking down. And then you're going to go through regular autophagy or autophagy. And this is when leukocytes or white blood cells literally leave tissues at night and surf through the bloodstream, and they start to break down the accumulated things or things that you don't need anymore, and they either recycle them or they engulf them, go through something called phagocytosis. Then they take them to what you would call lymph nodes. The lymph nodes have a bunch of macrophages or macrophages inside of them that break them down more. Then it goes through these lymph vessels and it ends up at the kidneys, and then you process it out and filtrate it out that way. So what happened if you move the lymphatic system and the lymphatic system start taking on all that waste, but your kidneys and your adrenals not working? Now you have a stagnated, backed up lymphatic system. When the lymphatic system is stagnated and backed up, malignant type of mutagenic cells start happening within inside of the lymphatic system. This lymphoma, this lymphedema, this edema. So now your lymphatic system is so backed up, and you having these cells mutate because it's lacking so much oxygen because you're not filtrating. And now you have all these so-called tumors and cancers inside the lymphatic system because you moved your lymphatic system without moving your kidneys and your adrenals. So this is what I'm saying. At least be pooping 5 times a day. Get to that point before you start trying to move your lymph. At least make sure you urinating at least 4 to 5 times a day, at least, before you start focusing on that lymphatic system. Focus on your kidneys, your adrenals, and your digestive system first, y'all. That way you're not having all these toxins just sitting around in your vascular system or sitting around in the interstitial fluid of your body, and then decaying is happening. And once decay happened, the lack of oxygen happened. And once the lack of oxygen happened, the over-expectoration of mucus happened. The mucus is going to further suffocate those cells. Now the cells break down and decompose, and to keep themselves from doing that, they have to mutate. In order for them to mutate, they have to adapt. And this adaptive way is what causes cancer, or what they call cancer. And basically, when tumors and things start getting built, because the body got to create these fleshly trash bags and put all the toxic metabolic waste in them, for it won't harm the bloodstream. Because if you change the pH balance of 7.45 of your blood, you either die of acidosis or alkalosis. So it's very, very imperative and important that you focus on kidney filtration, y'all. Kidney filtration and adrenal stimulation before you move the lymphatic system. That was a lot. I hope they got all that. Did y'all get all of that, family? If you got all that, let me know. If you got all of that, let me know. How to boost the immune system? I don't like to call it the immune system. I'll call it the lymphatic defense system. And if you look up what makes that up, that is the lymphatic system, and that is the leukocytes, or what you call white blood cells. How to boost those up? Antioxidants, antioxidant foods, food that is high in anthocyanins, food that is high in beta carotene, food that is high, your colorful fruits and vegetables. Onions, purple onions are amazing for the immune system because they have sulforaphane in it. It's high sulfur content. This is going to stimulate and initiate a detoxification response. The immune system is only stimulated when they see a threat. They need to be able to stand up and get trained and go after something. You see what I'm saying? So broccoli is very good. I know y'all be hating on broccoli. That is one of the best superfoods in the world, hybrid or not. I eat hybrid food all the time. You will never catch me eating GMO food, but I eat hybrid. Most of the food you eat is hybrid. Broccoli is a superfood. It have glucoraphanase phytochemicals in it. Not only do it have glucoraphanase in it, it have glucocyanonates phytochemicals in it. Not only do it have glucocyanonates, it have sulforaphane in it, which is high sulfur content. That is a good immune booster. Purple onions are very, very good because of the sulfur. That is a good immune system booster. Plus the color anthocyanin. Cyanin come from cyanobacteria. It means to be blue or purple. So now blueberries, high in antioxidants, high in anthocyanins. Blackberries. You notice I'm going for all the dark royal colors. That's all for the immune system. And you have to go after the white. The white onions are very, very good for the immune system, or what I'm going to call the lymphatic defense system. But you can get the immune system initiated, but again, what the immune system going to do, they're going to go kill foreign invaders. They're going to phagocytose. They're going to engulf things. You see that? They're going to be taking things to the lymphatic system. So even if your immune system is working perfectly, if the kidneys and the adrenals are not functioning properly, where's all the trash or metabolic waste going to go? I'm going to tell you what it's going to do. It's going to go and sit inside the lymphatic system, ferment and putrefy. And the putrefying is called the decaying and death thereof. And we know that you cut dead parts out of the body, or the body gets rid of it. You can't have nothing dead and septic sitting inside your body too long, because you would die. And that's how a lot of people are getting themselves in trouble, especially all the healers, or the up-and-coming herbalists, or the up-and-coming facilitators of healers out here doing. Y'all been hearing me teach this message for 10 years, and y'all only thinking lymphatic system, but y'all not thinking kidney filtration. So focus on kidney filtration, family. Focus on kidney filtration. Yeah, triple berry smoothies will be amazing, y'all. Triple berry smoothies. Remember, the berry kingdom is the brain kingdom. High antioxidants, high in oxygen, anti-ROS, what you would call reactive oxidative species foods. This thing really kick cancer, but anything you can think of, man, berry diet. We have generated entire nervous systems on berry diet. Remember the boy from Detroit that couldn't walk? Yeah. We got him out of a wheelchair. How many months was that? I think it was 9 months. We got him out of a wheelchair in 9 months on a berry diet. Now, he was skinny as hell when he got done, but he was able to walk again. He started walking on a cane, but now, last I heard, he's fully walking around. And we talking about a man that was so-called paralyzed for over 10 years in Detroit. No, Ohio, not Detroit. Ohio.
Cincinnati, right?
Cincinnati, Ohio, not Detroit. Forgive me, y'all. But in Cincinnati, Ohio, we did that off of berries and herbs. And even in the herbal kingdom, I gave him dry berries, saw palmetto berries, Cassandra berries. We gave him so many different berries. We put him on a berry herbal diet, and we put him on fresh berries. He did that for 9 months, and he was able to regenerate the myelin sheaths. What they say you can't do it, but he regenerated his myelin sheaths, and he regenerated his nerves, and he got those melanin neurotransmitters to communicate with his legs again. You know what I'm saying? I think that was one of the dopest testimonies we done did so far. That was dope. That remind me of Peter, Paul, and Christ and them. You know what I'm saying? Get up, take thy bed and walk. Sin no more. That's that type of power off of berries. And they'll show you that all of your healing modalities that you need is truly in your food. Somebody saying cap. Let me block his ass. You get it. Let me show you what the cap. You cap that block. All right. Yaki, it says, Yaki, how can you clear mold growing on your lungs? So now you have to ask yourself, where do mold come from? Mold is actually either come from things that you are growing. Things that is growing in your environment is actually coming from mildew, or it's coming from over expectoration of fungus and yeast candida buildup. So anybody that's dealing with mold in their lungs, I will cleanse the lungs. The first thing I would do is mullein root. I would do a mixture, and this mixture would be 1 ounce of mullein root. It'd be 1 ounce of coat's foot, and then I have to break up that molding and dissolve it off the lungs. It'd be 1 ounce of fenugreek seeds. That's what I would do. 1 ounce of mullein root, 1 ounce of mullein leaf, then 1 ounce of coat's foot leaf, and then 1 ounce of fenugreek seeds. And I would do all three. I want to do is it's going to start cleansing and opening up the bronchioles and opening up the lungs to clear the airways of the lungs. Now you have to make sure that you stand away from high sugar sweet foods too. Get rid of all snacks, get rid of all processed sweets. Don't eat nothing with bleached white flour, bleached white sugar. Even get rid of, at this point, don't eat date sugar, don't eat coconut sweets, don't eat agave, don't eat maple syrup or honey. Stay away from all types of sweeteners, because that's going to add to the candida. That's going to add. And remember, whenever you eat sugars, especially when you're talking about high fructose corn syrup or glucose, it's going to ferment. And this fermentation takes Candida albicans. Candida albicans byproducts is yeast. This yeast then turn into fungus. The fungus then turn into mold. And then that mold turn black when you don't get it out of the system. So that's what I would do. Make sure that you go on an all raw diet. I wouldn't be cooking anything whatsoever. I'd be taking them herbs I just said. Get your kidneys and your adrenals online. Go back to the beginning of this video and cleanse cleanse, cleanse, cleanse. And focus on breathing exercise. Get you some air purifier plants like spider plants and money trees inside of your house. Get you an air purifier off of Amazon to plug in your wall. Make sure you're changing that filter out every week. Wash your pillowcases and change your pillows out every 7 days, because the pillowcases be having mold inside of them, and y'all are washing y'all pillowcases, but y'all not throwing the actual pillow out every 7 days. Put these things on a cycle. If you look at the tag on your pillow, it actually have an expiration date. Did you know that? See that? So, and make sure that you get somebody that can come out and cleanse the vents where you at the most. Have them hook that big old vacuum up and suck all of that different static electricity out, all the dust and all of them fumes out of your actual vents, because that can be contributing to your lungs having mold on them. There shouldn't be nobody on earth that don't make it because of black mold or mold on their lungs. Anybody can get rid of mold. Anybody can. That is an easy fix if you just follow what I just said. Yeah, big facts. They said I'm buffering. Let's see. Is that better, y'all? I didn't know I was buffering. I was recently diagnosed with testicular cancer. What do I do? First, you have to ask yourself, what is cancer? Cancer is a metabolic disease. That's what cancer is. It's a metabolic disease. This metabolic disease starts in the mitochondria of the cells. The mitochondria go through 5 cycles, and it's called a Krebs cycle. Well, what's happening is the mitochondria is not able to metabolically break down oxygen into carbon dioxide and turn carbon dioxide into water, and that water is then used as fuel to produce something called ATP or ADP, which is adenosine triphosphate. And since it's missing the oxygen molecule, which is a aerobic state, what it does is it go an anaerobic state, and it goes back to the primitive method that our cells used to do when we were green people and we was under the sun 24/7, and it wasn't a such thing as winter. And this was before we started breathing in oxygen. We did not always breathe oxygen, and we wasn't always copper skinned people. We still was melanin people, but we were a very ancient green people, damn near kind of like reptilians, which is the reason why you have something called a reptilian brain. So whenever your body is going through what they call disease, or you stop breathing in, or you stop getting an adequate amount of oxygen, you go back to the reptilian way. Right? I'm not playing. You don't even function with the mammalian brain no more. You go back to reptilian way, and your body starts literally using lactic acid to form energy, which is a discharge of adenosine triphosphate. It's going to use a lesser currency called adenosine diphosphate. In order for it to do that, it needs to use cyanobacteria. So now the bacteria use the Krebs cycle and use fermentation and lactic acid to actually create ADP instead of the highest currency that uses oxygen to create ATP. In order for it to do this, it have to be able to adapt. Through that adaptation, it brings on mutation. You have to remember the 4 stages of disease. The first one is what? Toxicity. Whenever you come into toxicity, whether it's from the food, whether it's from the environment, whether it's from conversation, whether it's from low thoughts, the first thing is toxicity. Then from toxicity, it brings on what? A deficiency. So now they saying it's buffering bad.
No, man, I think they cut it off.
They did?
Hold on.
I'm still seeing them on here.
Okay. All right.
Then it brings on deficiency. So toxicity equals deficiency. Deficiency equals adaptation, and adaptation always bring on mutation. And mutation is what you would call malignancy. So first thing you have to do is get more oxygen. If I was you, I'd get out in that sun. I'd do the sun at least an hour a day. Right after that, I will go all raw. And when I say all raw, I mean all raw. And I will go on a nutritional, plant-based, ketogenic diet. Let me say that again. A nutritional, plant-based, ketogenic diet. These are foods that are high in fructose and high in fats. And I will stay away from glucose, because glucose is going to be the main source that feeds those cancerous cells. Remember, a cancer cell is really no different than a regular cell. The only difference between a cancer cell and a regular cell is that the cancer cell is a mutant, but it still needs to eat glucose. And so since it's weak, it's going to cipher 17 times the size of glucose than a regular cell. So you shut it off. You starve it, and you starve it by not giving it glucose. And you see that? So what you do is you're going to eat more of a plant-based, nutritional, high ketogenic diet. Stay away from glucose. Eat foods high in fructose. right? And high in fats. And then you work out, exercise, make sure you working out, exercising, sweating, do at least 21 days in the sauna. At least 21 minutes in the sauna every single day if you can. If you can get you a post electrical magnetic frequency mat, get on that mat 30 minutes a night. If not, make sure you grounding on the earth at least an hour a day to get all these electron stimulants in you, because you need electron donors. The more electron donors you got, it will get rid of the protons, because protons make you very, very inflamed. If it's too many of them in the body, it causes an inflammation response. Also, you need to do my geogenetic juice, and then the geogenetic therapeutic package off my site, the #2. Work wonders. It'll change your heart. Eat fresh. Make sure you're not eating any processed foods. If the footprint is more than 3 people touching it before it get to you, cut it out. Cut it out and get oxygen. Do diaphragmatic breathing, or come to the clinic and get the hyperbaric chamber therapy. You need oxygen, oxygen, oxygen. Because remember, first thing is toxicity. Then the next stage is deficiency. A lot of y'all are oxygen deficient and don't even know it. And any disease, or what they call disease, is all driven by a state of hypoxia. And what hypoxia mean is you're not getting oxygen to your cells. That's what I would do if I was you, brother. Do you recommend grounding sheets? Yes, the grounding sheets I recommend. I hate giving, because I'm finna make them millions and they ain't gonna give me no money for it, but I'm gonna say it. Grounding.co. Grounding.co is one of the best grounding sheets that I've found. I need to get affiliate links, because I know they're gonna be asking these questions. Y'all finna go and buy all their stuff, and they ain't gonna even pay me no money. But grounding.co have good grounding sheets. A tea that's good for depression. All you gotta think about this: all depression is always associated with the lack of minerals. So when you lack minerals, or you mineral deficient, especially in calcium and magnesium, and they go together, that's gonna always rob the thyroid and the parathyroid. A down thyroid and parathyroid always bring on depression. And glutamate. Glutamate is very, very, you need that. And your betas too. You need those to have, and dopamine and serotonin. These are very good secretion hormones that make you happy. But all of these are regulated by enzymes. And then again, these enzymes are regulated by the minerals that I was just saying. So get minerals. Minerals. What I notice that's good for depression is minerals. You need to get you some mineral boosters. You can get those from your berries. You can get those from eating fruit. You can get those from my adult all-purpose vitamins off of my website, and coherence capsules. My coherent capsules is full of different types of cordyceps mushrooms, lion's manes mushrooms. These are mushrooms that help you produce more dopamine inside the brain. So if I was you, I'd go to the website, definitely get my coherence, and get my all-purpose adult vital minerals to help you get that mineralization and getting that sunlight, because vitamin D is very, very, very important when it comes to your happiness, and that actually helps you out with dopamine and serotonin production. Do you take the kidney transplant for life? Do you take the kidney transplant for life after the transplant? I think you're talking about the medication. Once you get a kidney transplant, they have to give you basically immune suppressive therapy for the rest of your life. And the reason why they give you immune suppressive therapy for the rest of your life is because your lymphatic system is going to get is going to see that kidney that ain't yours. It's going to look at it like a foreign invader, and it's literally going to kill it anyway. So yeah, most of the time you see people that get kidney transplant, they either fail later on, or their immune system completely fail, because you have to obliterate the immune system for the kidney to even function and stay in the body. Talk about distilled water and spring water for the kidneys. Only time I ever use distilled water if I'm healing and detoxing, and I'm trying to stay away from a bunch of mineral oxide. I use that. So when you take the herbs, I always tell people to use distilled water to make your teas. But if you talk about hydration and electrolytes, spring water. But there's a water way better than all of those waters, and that is H3O2 from your fruits and from your vegetables. And I'm standing on that. Women's hormone issues. So governs the hormones in man and women. The master gland is called the pituitary gland, the pituitary, patu. Speaking of patu, y'all gotta see my, I'm gonna show y'all my studio. We in my studio right now. Y'all gotta check it out. But you're gonna have to go after the actual glandular highway, or what they'll call the endocrine system. So if I was you, I'll go on the website and get the essential glandular kit. That will regulate your glandular highway. And you have to remember that your glands is the same thing as your chakra. So check your energy and make sure your soul right. So let me show y'all this real quick. Yeah, now B is gonna put the address. They asked for you to put the address in the what's the name? Look, check this out. So y'all, let me show y'all the studio. So y'all already know. Hold on. Boom. So y'all see this one. So y'all already know what we do up in here. This is the anatomy. Of course, we got an IB. This is another podcast room. Y'all seen me in here. Say what up, Shem. Hold on, let me show y'all. So this is a podcast where I'm going to bring younger people on and we're going to be talking about what we talking about. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we got the Gorilla Mix. Everybody been buying the Gorilla Mixes. Everybody been buying those. Make sure y'all cop them. Yep. This is where we do all the anatomy and physiology classes at. I'm turning this into a newsroom. Any news that got to do with health that come through the system is going to be done in this room. This room will be done in a month. But my favorite podcast room, y'all, is the room we going to now. And I call it At the Feet of My Elders or At the Feet of My Ancestors. Y'all, check out this room. Powerful. So I come from a Kemetic Hebrew Israelite background. And that's what I did. I tried to involve the Hebrew side of my life and the Kemetic side of my life all into one. And I'm only bringing the elders that's 50 years old that have done a lot of work for the community to this room. It's going to be super amazing, y'all. Let me check this out. This going to be dope. This my chair right here. This my chair. And then my guest is going to sit there. We already talked about who we going to have on here. Anthony Browder. Of course, I got to get Umar on here. I got to get King Haru on here. I'm just all the... Oh, Billy Carson got to come on here just to really talk about... We're going to be talking about some deep stuff. And everything on here is going to be... It's going to be merging physiology, merging anatomy, merging healing with spirituality. Man, look, mark my words. This is going to be one of the dopest podcasts to ever hit the airways. I'm telling you, right here in this room with all of this energy, right here in this room with all this beautiful energy. Yeah. So, you know, if y'all got some elders that have done a lot for the community, it's time to be at their feet. And that's why it's called At the Feet of My Elders. It's time to pay them their dues, time to pay them their respect and let them speak. And we not doing an interview style. I'm not interviewing nobody. I am a horrible interviewer. I suck. I talk too much. Y'all gonna hold a conversation with Dr. Yaki. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to pay you your respects, and then we're going to have conversations about some of the deepest, most impactful topics in the world, y'all. I'm telling you, mark my words. This room